Welcome back to doing our best outdoors. It's a beautiful mid-September day in Northern Ontario, and the leaves are just starting to change. I think in about 2 weeks we should have full color. Today's a great day to do a review of the Kubota LX2620. The pros and the cons. I've had the tractor now for approximately 5 to 6 months, and I'd just like to give you my opinion on what I think works and what doesn't work. So stay tuned and we'll be right back. The LX2620 has evolved from a long line of Kubota compact tractors. This is my second Kubota. The first was a B2650 open station. Just absolutely loved that tractor. Had it for well over 10 years, and it did everything I needed to do around the property. That was my main reason for sticking with the 26 horsepower tractor. Basically the same tractor, except obviously I have a cab. Did everything I want to do around our property. My most obvious option to the LX2620 was the addition of the cab. The same tractor comes in an open station tractor, but living in the north here, I found with my B2650, which was open station, that snow blowing or clearing snow was an absolute nightmare. The cab is just going to make a tremendous difference. We have a really long driveway, and it's going to be a welcome addition to the removal of snow. Absolutely love the cab, even in the summer here. As I mentioned earlier, it does get a little bit hot in there, but it is air conditioned and very, very comfortable. Another improvement in the LX2620 is the beefier seat. It has a weight adjustment which allows you to adjust the tension, a lot smoother ride, especially over bumpy terrain. I found in my B2650 sometimes the seat would bottom out and it get rather uncomfortable. I haven't had that happen in the LX2620. The seat also adjusts forwards and backwards, as well as the back of the seat coming forward and backwards as well, and also the noticeable adjustable armrest. A lot more comfortable and certainly makes for a nicer ride. One thing I opted for was the optional Bluetooth radio. Great feature for if you're going to be in the tractor for any length of time. Good reception on the radio, as well as you can pair it to your phone for music and phone calls. Absolutely a necessity, and I would highly recommend it. The heater air conditioner in the LX2620 is a standard feature. I've only had the opportunity to use the air conditioner. I'm waiting for the winter to use the heater. However, absolutely love the air conditioner, especially on those hot 29, 30 degrees Celsius or 90 degree Fahrenheit days. It was a godsend. The cab, primarily glass, and if you didn't have the air conditioner, I would strongly suggest you wouldn't be able to spend any time in the tractor. The only downside to the air conditioner that I noticed when it's on and you go up a grade, the tractor labors a little bit, and you lose a little bit of speed. You can simply turn off the air conditioner at that point if you want, and it resolves the issue, or just take your time getting up the grade. A necessity as far as I'm concerned, and I'll let you know how the heater works after I've had the opportunity to use it in the coming winter. Another big improvement from the B2650 to the LX2620 is the position of the main control lever. It's mounted vertically right beside the side of the cab. The B2650, the control lever kind of just came into the cab a little bit, and I found with that every time I turned around to back up, my knee would hit the lever and normally drop the bucket. I found myself dragging the bucket a couple times. With this new position of the control lever, it's absolutely a huge improvement, and it certainly this hasn't happened since I've had this tractor. You'll notice while we're on this video too is the control on the top of the stick for the optional third function valve, and I'll talk about that in a few minutes. Two other options I added to the LX2620, which I didn't have on my B2650, were the addition of wheel spacers. They're 1.5" wheel spacers, so it gives me a wider stance of about 3 inches. In addition to the wheel spacers, I added ballast, liquid ballast in the tires, which adds about just about 450 pounds, and again makes the tractor a little bit more stable. I didn't have either the wheel spacers or ballast in my B2650, and boy oh boy, there was a couple of times there where I wish I had it. I didn't know at the time, but I wouldn't be without it. Any tractor I would have in future. It really does make a big difference. The LX2620 has a greater lifting capacity than my B2650, so that allowed me to get a bigger bucket and a little bit heavier loader. This is a 60-inch bucket. I believe I had a 54-inch bucket on my B2650, but just absolutely love the 60-inch bucket and the additional lifting capacity. Also, if you watched one of my earlier videos, I did an installation on this JU Fabworks Workmaster plate. Great addition to the tractor. It has a 2-inch receiver, allows me to put a ball on the front, and I can easily move my boat, any implement that I have, rather than hooking up to a vehicle, and certainly pulling it and maneuvering it frontwards is a lot easier than backing up. We keep our boat in a small shed, and I can just line it up and back that boat or push that boat in quite easily. So fabulous addition to the tractor, and absolutely love it. If you get an opportunity, check out the video. I'll put a link up in the top corner, and it's an easy install, and like I say, it's a great option to have for any tractor. Another option I added to the tractor is a third function valve. I have a front-mounted snowblower. I opted for the front-mounted snowblower. Certainly makes it a lot easier than have to back up all the time in the winter. I do not have a rear remotes on this tractor. None of my implements require hydraulics in the rear. However, it's from what I understand, it's an easy add option should you choose to go that route. Another thing I'm not sure of is the R14 tires. I took them as an option this time because they say they're a little bit better in snow. To be transparent, I haven't had the opportunity to use them in snow, and that may very well be the case. However, what I do notice with them is when I'm driving on a relatively smooth pavement, I think they seem to chatter, and you get a lot of vibration. I just think it's the tread pattern that causes that. It's livable, but certainly I didn't have that problem with my R4s. So again, I'm thinking they're going to be good in the snow, and if that's the case, then I have made the right decision. But until that time, I'm not 100% sold. Yeah, if you have anything to add, or you have experience with the R14s, can you leave me a comment and just let me know what your thoughts are. Another noticeable difference in the LX2620 is the treadle. Although it's the same as the B2650, it's very close to the sidewall with the cab. And I find if I have heavy work boots on, when I get out of the cab, my foot always seems to get caught between the wall of the cab and the treadle. Not a deal breaker, but you certainly have to be careful exiting the tractor. If you're not thinking, you could easily trip. So just something to keep in mind. Not a deal breaker, but it's just one of those things that you just have to get used to as you use the tractor. Another small gripe I have with the LX2620 is the position of the mirrors. You can see that I'm not that tall, but it seems every time I get out or in the tractor, I'm always whacking my head on the mirror, and it does break away, but it's a little bit more of an annoyance than anything. I don't know whether to blame the tractor or blame myself. It's probably one of those self-correcting features that after you whack your head a few times, you'll probably learn not to do that. But the mirrors are great. I love to have the view I have from behind the tractor. Again, on an open station tractor, you don't have that option. So just kind of a little bit of levity here, but maybe one day I'll learn to give myself a little bit of distance from the mirrors. Last but not least is the spinner, which I've attached to the steering wheel here. Certainly makes maneuvering the tractor a lot easier. I very seldom grab the wheel now because I can maneuver the tractor quite easily with the spinner. A great addition for very reasonable price. You can pick these up at Amazon for minimal dollars. Real difference in backing up the tractor. You can focus on looking backwards and easily maneuver the tractor by using the spinner. Like I say, great option, easy install, and very inexpensive modification or addition to your tractor. One of the biggest complaints and improvements to the LX2620 over the B2650 or even the LX10 is the improvement in the whine of the transmission. I've never driven a 2610. However, from what I see on YouTube videos, it does become a bit of a problem. The B2650, I did notice a big, it's almost like a really high-pitched whine coming from the transmission. Great improvement here. So let's go for a ride and we'll check it out. See, there's a little bit of cab noise. Again, it's not bad. It's not that high-pitched whine. You're obviously going to get some noise because it is a tractor, but certainly not that annoying high-pitched whine. Not bad. I can still hear the radio if I wanted to, and it's not annoying. I know in my open station tractor, I always had to wear ear protection because of the whine, both from the transmission and the noise of the engine. Comfortable. You could wear protection if you wanted to, but I don't think it's necessary. Another noticeable difference in the LX2620 is it's very responsive or sensitive to hydraulic adjustments. For example, if I take my foot off the throttle, the tractor almost comes to an abrupt stop. When I'm manipulating the loader, I have to be in low gear and I have to remember to knock the RPMs down, because as soon as you make a movement or adjust the bucket, it's too quick to react to. So whether that'll settle down over time, I'm not sure, but it's not a big deal, but it's something you need to be aware of in the operation of the tractor. To me, it's unpleasant, but I think it's insurmountable. And like I say, it might just be a break-in for the tractor, the hydraulics, but very noticeable difference in the responsiveness and the sensitivity. Again, if you have experience with LX2610, LX2620, or any of the new versions of the Kubota tractors, could you just drop me a comment and let me know if that's a normal operation or if it's something that I need to be concerned about. I certainly would appreciate any feedback. So in conclusion, I guess the question is, would I buy another Kubota tractor? The answer, without a doubt, is absolutely. This is my second. Like I said earlier, I had my B2650 for over 10 years. This is coming up to 6 months with my LX2620. Absolutely loved both tractors. Reliable, good service, and certainly great price point. You get a lot for your money. Tractors are very, very expensive, and you want to be sure that you get value for your dollar. Looking forward to the cab in the winter. I noticed it made a big difference in the summer with the heat, being able to get out and work for most of the day in the tractor and not feel uncomfortable. So thanks for tuning in. Any comments, or always here to learn. So if you have any comments or suggestions, please leave them in the comments. Again, thanks for joining us, and I look forward to seeing you on our next video. So remember, be safe out there and enjoy the great outdoors. Thanks again.